Hi folks, welcome back to the Carver's Woodshop. We're still working on this ornament of the snowman and tree. And what I went ahead and did was I drew the lines on the back of the snowman, and we're cutting out the tiers here, the different things. I did this in the front, as you can see. I cut it out a little further each way and undercut it a little bit. You can do everything with a knife. I like working with a knife, but you're welcome to use a gouge if you have that and you feel comfortable using one. I enjoyed using just basically a knife. I can't stress enough, folks, that if you don't know how to sharpen your tools, that you learn how to sharpen your tools. If you're a beginner, it's very, very important that you learn how to sharpen your tools. So you can see that I did a tier, a top one all the way down. Now here, I don't want to make it too thin here, because when I set it upright, I want it to be able to stand, just like you see, okay? And if you knock too much of this off, I'm just not going to do anything more with the point here. I need a little bit flat, and the same thing with the bottom here. I'm not going to cut a whole lot off, just in case I want to stand it instead of hanging it somewhere. What we're doing is, what I did was on the back here, I drew where the head should be, okay, and where the top of the head goes, and the top of the hat. And I put a stop cut across, and I took a, let me just zoom in a little bit, I cut that out a little bit here, so we're trying to round off the hat here, just like so. Alright, and I'm going to go to a different knife here, and we're just cutting some of this stuff off and rounding it a little bit on each side. Okay, so we're going to cut that out a little bit. And we're going to round off the top of the hat, just a little bit here. Same thing with the back. And remember, when you do this, you got to take all those marks off. Like this stuff will all have to be shaved off a little bit, even on the tree here, because when you go to paint it, it's going to be darker if you don't, don't cut it off. It will look different when you paint it. So, by all means, make sure you you cut that out. And I should have gone the other way. I was going against the grain. That's why it's a little tougher to cut that out. And the same thing here. We're just going to cut portions of this out. You want to go with the grain as much as possible, because even if you don't go with the grain, sometimes it does look a little different when you go to paint it. And we're rounding all this off. The grain is running this way up and down. And these things are a little hard to hang on to. You have to be a little bit creative when you want to hang on to them a little bit. And to have it that you can carve it. We're just going to round off that a little bit. I'm going to go in here and take care of the middle part here. This might be a little easier when you're offline to pay a little more attention to it if you can. And same thing with that. We're just going to undercut that. Okay. That's kind of our tier on the back and our tier on the front. And then you're going to take all this rough stuff off that you see here. You're going to go with the grain and just cut all this off. Just be very careful when you do it, because you're going to go all the way around and take all that rough stuff off. The hat here, we're going to make that a little bit deeper. Alright. We're going to round off these arms too. In fact, we need to dig that out. Actually, this stump part sticks out. So the arm goes underneath. Okay? We're just going to take that and we're going to round that little corner off. Just like that. We're going to round this off from the bottom. Perfect. We're going to separate those hands a little bit. One on top of the other there. Just like that. And the tree is going to be tucked behind there, so we need to cut that out a little bit as well. After this project, I think we're going to do another bottle stopper, and I'll explain that a little bit later. I have to draw it up yet a little bit and figure out if I want to do it from a block or from a pattern. So we're just trimming everything off a little bit here and there. And then this will all just be rounded off. Just like so. You remember? The head is sticking out over the body a little bit, so we're going to cut this off. We're going to put that scarf around here, so that will come on here a little bit later. And we're just going to add it up underneath there. Just like so. Kind of what we did with the front, so we're going to put a few stop cuts in and take care of that. It won't be too long before this thing is done. I'm trying to show you as much of the carving portion as I can so that you have an understanding of it. Especially if you're new to carving, it's, you know, kind of hard to visualize everything. Like so. So this will be the back of the head. Let's cut that out. Alright folks, we'll be right back.